Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla's new vehicle configurations, Tesla's new wall connector to serve all EVs, Giga Mexico groundbreaking, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla has unveiled their new universal wall connector, available in the US and Canada. Essentially, this is a product designed for Tesla owners that want Tesla's connector, but also want to charge different EVs. Currently, my strategy owning a Model Y and a Rivian is to use an adapter, and essentially this new connector just includes one of those right inside of it. It's actually fairly similar to the Magic Dock we've seen Tesla install at superchargers. Tesla says in their video that this is, quote, the only home charging option that can charge any electric vehicle. And in this video, they're demoing it on a VW ID4. Simply press the button on the handle to charge your non-Tesla. Essentially, this just releases a J1772 adapter. Then, quote, pull on the handle to charge your Tesla, and this releases the NACS connector. Long term, this will be the connector for all EVs in America, but for now, this allows you to have the adapter built right into your home charger. Orders of this charger will begin shipping in October, and they say it has up to 44 miles of range added per hour at 11.5 kilowatts, 48 amp output. It is priced at $595, which is $120 more than their standard wall connector, and that's a fairly similar cost to buying the standard wall connector and adding an adapter. I think this is another example of Tesla showing that they're accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, because not only are they working on the charging side to get people to the NACS standard, which most would agree is the best option long term, but they're also making a convenient wall charger to charge multiple types of EVs, especially EVs that are not Teslas, in the meantime. Next up today, Tesla has launched two very interesting vehicle configurations that immediately make their flagship vehicles more competitive and accessible to customers. Until now, there has been a huge gap between the Tesla Model 3 and Model S. Similarly, there is a big gap between the Tesla Model Y and Model X. This comes clearly in price, certain features, but particularly Tesla's sales. Last quarter, Tesla delivered a total of 466,140 vehicles worldwide. Of those, 446,915 were Model Y and 3. The remaining 19,225 with the Model S and X. In large part, that's because of the price of these cars, and this difference is as intended by Tesla. The Model 3 and Y are newer, easier to build, and appeal to the masses. That said, they are still making the Model S and X, even though they've decided against even making a right-hand drive version of these cars post-refresh. The Model S, for years now, has started at over double the price of the Model 3. That is because Tesla has only sold a long-range version, starting just under $90,000, and then the more expensive Plaid version. Now though, seemingly to help boost some demand for these cars, Tesla has introduced a cheaper standard range version. The new Model S standard range starts at $78,490, which is exactly $10,000 cheaper than the long-range Model S. Still comes in dual motor, gets a 320-mile EPA estimated range, top speed of 149 miles per hour, and a 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Comparing this to the long range at $10,000 more, it's the same top speed, 0 to 60 that is 0.6 seconds slower, and 85 fewer miles of EPA estimated range. Aside from that, those are the only differences in these cars. For the Model X, Tesla has also done the same. The new standard range Model X starts at $88,490, still comes in dual motor, gets a 269-mile EPA estimated range, top speed of 149 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Comparing that to the long range at $10,000 more, it's the same top speed, a 0 to 60 that is 0.6 seconds slower, and 79 fewer miles of EPA estimated range. Clearly, Tesla is going after the ever-growing luxury EV market. They're doing incredibly well beating the competition with the Model 3 and Y, but cars like the Lucid Air or Rivian R1S are becoming more enticing to customers once entering these top prices. Now, Tesla offers an option that is $10,000 cheaper than before. What is most fascinating here, though, is that this standard range car is actually the exact same car as the long range. It has all the same features, motors, and battery. The difference is simply in software, where Tesla is software locking the range and acceleration to make this cheaper option available. According to Electrek, quote, after seeing that Tesla is listing the new versions as having the same weight as the long range for both Model S and Model X, we have reached out to Tesla centers to ask, and Tesla advisors were able to confirm that the new standard range Model S and Model X are indeed software-locked long-range vehicles. This is something Tesla has done in the past, and it allows them to offer a cheaper option without having to change anything in their production process. It really shows you how important scaling is, because it appears that in this case, it's cheaper for Tesla to lose $10,000 on each car sale, which is identical to the long-range version, than it is for them to build a new production line for a smaller battery pack that actually costs them less on the materials side. That said, there are a couple of implications here. For one, Tesla in the past has temporarily increased the range on owners' software-logged batteries to help them escape natural disasters. That's a very interesting thing, but it points to the idea that someone could purchase this car and then later pay for a $10,000 or so upgrade to unlock the full battery. Tesla has offered that in past years, and it could very well be something that they offer at the end of a quarter to boost some revenue. While this standard range Tesla Model S or X with lower range may not sound worthwhile to you because of the range loss, here's why it could make sense for you. If you're ready to buy a Model S with its 405-mile EPA range, you'll find that each day your recommended charge percentage is around 80 to 90% for battery longevity. So in theory, a long range gets 324 to 364 miles of range EPA each day. For the standard range, however, you'd see 320 miles of range that you can get every day, since there's actually more unused battery packs sitting there software locked. You can charge to your quote 100% each day and potentially see a similar range to the recommended 80% charge on a long-range Model S. Of course, on a road trip, there's no more range past 320 miles, but if you find yourself not needing more, this $10,000 savings for the nearly identical car could make a lot of sense. All of that said, especially when comparing the new standard range Model X, it really makes the Model Y look pretty attractive. You can get much more range for almost $40,000 less. I'm particularly interested why Tesla introduced this version, what their rationale was, and why they didn't just lower the price of the long-range Model S to make that competitive version more competitive by $10,000. They're selling the same car anyway, but for now, maybe this gets more out the door. Next up today, as we're approaching Cybertruck production, we have even more sightings. First, over at New Zealand's Southern Hemisphere Proving Grounds, a Cybertruck was spotted with a trailer attached to it. We know that the Cybertruck is supposed to include some pretty remarkable towing capabilities, but this may be the first time we've actually seen this truck towing in the wild. This prototype had 512 written, or taped onto the side, which as far as we can tell either relates to the Austin, Texas area code, or likely refers to this particular unit. It seems it refers to the unit since previously a New Zealand Cybertruck prototype was spotted sporting 604, and another had 535 on the side. Interestingly, this latest Cybertruck prototype has an additional LED light bar mounted on the front bumper, which could just be helping for better visibility at night. We assume that this isn't an accessory Tesla is specifically planning to sell, but it shows that things can definitely be mounted on this truck, which is very important. Over at Giga Texas, Cybertrucks are starting to be produced in real numbers. At this point, we're seeing close to 20 as far as we can tell, and Tesla is shipping them around the country for testing. These photos show 6 covered Cybertrucks that are in addition to 9 others that Joe Tegtmeyer spotted with drone footage. Tesla is covering them up, but it's clear what they are. In any case, Tesla has been shipping Cybertrucks for crash testing, and these are some photos of a few spotted in Arkansas. Right here, someone caught video of 2 trailers hauling a total of 6 Cybertrucks, and these very well could be the same ones. While parked in Arkansas, Kelvin on Twitter got a video, and then was able to get pretty close up. Notably, on the side of the Cybertruck it says, completed crash ready. Judging by no damage on the truck, it seems that it's very likely still heading to crash testing. Some have also speculated that they're headed to the NHTSA crash test proving grounds and that Arkansas is on the way. Steven on Twitter was also able to get some great photos of these Cybertrucks parked in Arkansas. Here's a close-up of the rear bumper with tow hitch, the interior including the center console, wireless phone charger, and partial yoke steering wheel, the suspension above the strap-down wheels, and then a close-up of the screen and steering wheel. Tesla is clearly ready to ship this truck with no instrument cluster display and no stocks. While we've seen various wheels in testing, it appears that Tesla is still planning to move forward with the original wheel covers. Overall, this prototype is exactly what we've seen up close recently, so it's showing us pretty much exactly what Tesla's production Cybertruck is looking like. On top of this, another batch of Cybertrucks was headed east near Tucson, Arizona, while others were spotted roaming around Giga Texas. There's no counting to be done anymore, and the number of prototypes Tesla is working with seems to grow daily as Giga Texas ramps up production. It's very exciting and especially interesting to track since it's nearly impossible to tell Cybertrucks apart. Now we just wait to hear any official announcement from Tesla, particularly regarding the price of the Cybertruck. While it's exciting to keep seeing them in the wild, many are a bit checked out until we hear about what this truck will actually bring, when, and for what price. Speaking of new Tesla vehicles, we have a quick update on the Project Highland Model 3. We're still waiting for Tesla to release this car, but the latest reports say that after 2 weeks of transitioning, Giga Shanghai is now only producing that new Model 3. For the first time, we've spotted Tesla testing it out in the wild in China, complete with covers. At the same time, a first look at the redesigned headlight was seen. This is the part by itself, and we've been seeing various leaks like this lately, but still don't have a solid picture of the interior yet. Once Tesla actually starts producing this car though, we should get a full picture. Next up today, it looks like Tesla is finally preparing to break ground on their new factory in Nuevo Leon, Mexico. This factory was announced at their investor day back in March, and they've been experiencing a number of setbacks trying to get the project started, including waiting on permits. The governor of Nuevo Leon said in June that they'd be able to start construction any moment, but we still haven't heard of any progress on that front. Tesla needs to get this factory built soon because they have a goal to ramp their total production up to 20 million vehicles by the end of the decade. Nuevo Leon is supposed to be where Tesla will produce their next generation vehicles, which could include a cheaper electric hatchback and the robo-taxi. Now, according to a local newspaper, machinery has been spotted at the factory grounds. They report that, quote, construction work on the Tesla Gigafactory, announced on March 1st, has already begun on the property that will be its headquarters in the municipality of Santa Catarina, Nuevo Leon. Since this Wednesday, the machinery has been observed in the section near the highway to Saltillo at its junction with the Anillo Periférico de Monterrey. They shared drone flyover footage, and it looks like they're creating an exit off the main road here and laying the road to the factory site. With this work starting, we should be hearing about a groundbreaking ceremony soon. From that point, their goal is to get the factory up and running in around 9 months like Giga Shanghai did. That could mean that a year from now, we could see Tesla's next generation vehicles in North America. This is very exciting news, and we'll be keeping an eye on that factory's progress. Next up today, a new V4 supercharger has been spotted at Giga Berlin. Back in March, that factory achieved their goal for phase 1 of manufacturing 5,000 vehicles per week. That was about a year after the factory's first deliveries. Then in June, we learned the second phase of the factory's expansion would include battery production and something they called solar roof charging. We haven't heard any official details on that yet, but it looks like that project may be moving forward. New drone flyover footage posted by Tobias Lind gives us a pretty good look at their progress. In the beginning, you can see a bunch of different construction projects that are expanding the actual factory. Those will likely both add to the current production capacity for their existing cars and bring new manufacturing capabilities to the plant, like the battery production we previously heard about. We can also see that Tesla has built a new supercharger V4 station that appears to be at least partially solar powered. It has either been primed for solar panels, or that could be a Tesla solar roof that we're seeing. I think that all of their charging stations should be covered with solar carports because it serves multiple purposes. They both provide the station with clean energy while shielding the cars and people at those chargers from the sun and rain. This sighting is exciting because Tesla has only built a few of these next generation supercharger stations, and none of them are as big as this one. The first one opened in March in the Netherlands, and a second one was spotted in France. Neither of these appear to have solar carports, though the one in France does have a structure that looks like it could have solar added later. Right now though, it's just a structure to help people find the charger and doesn't even offer shade. Tesla claimed back in 2021 that all their superchargers would be powered with renewable energy by the end of the year, but that is definitely not the case. This new V4 charger is a step in the right direction though, and hopefully means more of their chargers will be powered with solar in the future. Next up today, Tesla posted a video recently of their vehicles undergoing extreme cold weather testing near the Arctic Circle. Some may think that because Tesla was started in the warm, temperate climate of California, that their vehicles aren't built to withstand very cold weather. On the contrary, they go to great lengths to make sure that their cars perform better than any other EVs when it comes to low temperatures. In the past, we've seen them testing their entire lineup in New Zealand, and there have been several leaks of the Cybertruck testing there too, as we talked about earlier. We've also seen them go to the opposite extreme in Dubai, doing durability testing where it's consistently over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now they've shared this video from northern Norway, where they've been doing durability testing in temperatures below negative 16 degrees Fahrenheit. The team was testing just a couple kilometers south of the Arctic Circle, where it couldn't get much colder. The point of that is to make sure that these cars can serve any customer in the world. Quote, "We're trying to replicate customer scenarios and find all the challenges with driving a car in northern Scandinavia." They drove a Model Y up mountains and in tunnels, monitoring humidity, temperature, and pressure inside the taillights to see how these factors impact the car in various environments. They say in the video that the people that live in this area tend to live by the sea in a very humid climate and spend weekends in cabins up in the mountains. The vehicle then has to be able to withstand rapid environmental changes as well as prolonged harsh conditions in order to be a viable option there. They even mention ice forming on the windshield wiper and underneath the car, and the car being able to handle that. What they didn't discuss though was charging, and I'm very curious to see how well it performs in that department. It looks like the Model Y is a completely viable option for customers that live here though, which is extremely impressive. Last up today, an update from Fisker. This week, Fisker announced that they are the latest automaker to adopt Tesla's NACS connector as the standard for their vehicles. Quote, the company announces today that it has signed an agreement with Tesla to adopt the North American charging standard on its first vehicles in 2025. The move will provide Fisker owners with additional charging options, taking advantage of Tesla's 12,000 supercharger stations in the United States and Canada. All current and future Fisker vehicles will be covered by the agreement. It appears to be the same deal as other brands regarding adapters and when they'll switch. Fisker customers will utilize an NACS adapter to plug in at superchargers starting in Q1 2025. Fisker will later update vehicle engineering to include an NACS inlet. A CCS adapter will be provided so that customers can continue to charge using the standard. This is just the latest in a long and growing list of automakers switching to NACS. It may be a little awkward for a bit during this transition, but long term it will make a better, far easier charging standard for all EVs in North America. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest Tesla Model Y and 3 price cuts in China, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.